Hey everybody. We're beginning chapter 4 here in just a few seconds, but I just wanted to step up and say that I mentioned on the site I'm doing an intermission. I never really got around to finishing it. I still have it on the block to do, but there's just a lot involved. And so I'm just mainly going to talk about some of the things in this clip and then just release it later. So I'll get to that in just a few minutes, but let's go ahead and start chapter 4 here. You'll remember, it's been some time I know, that we're in Fireburg. And so let's take a look at what these people have to say. First, here's Reuben's house. The volcano seemed odd, so my husband Arian climbed it with his friend. That doesn't strike me as a good reason to climb a volcano. It says his buddy freaked out, ran home and locked himself in. It sounds like a real stable individual, if you ask me. First sign of trouble, he hightails it and goes home and hides and abandons his friend in the mountains, or the volcano. Again, kind of a bizarre place to go spelunking, or whatever they were doing. You're Reuben. Well, that was a pretty out-of-the-blue guess. I wonder how he knew that he was Reuben, wearing a sign that says, I'm Reuben, or perhaps he saw that this is Reuben's house when he walked in like we did. Seems like a legitimate problem. And of course Benjamin's just willing to help. Why don't you let me help? He's stuck behind a boulder. There's that pesky boulder again. You know what? It seems like these town people should help. You know, it's just a boulder. It's a rock. It'd be no problem if we had a mega grenade. You mean the unstable friend who abandoned your dad up in the mountains, the one that he has? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We're gonna get something that a guy who obviously has problems invented that's an explosive. Boy, that sounds like a top-notch idea if you ask me. So let's see what some of these other people have to say. A mask lets you see the monsters through the gas in the volcano. So this is going to be another of those invisible monster zones like we dealt with in the last chapter. You know, I hope they make this mask easier to find than that mirror that's supposed to make the monsters visible in the last chapter. If you've seen the comments on some of these clips, it's mentioned that I missed the mirror, that, you know, it's actually if I would have taken a right or something like that. Well, that's true. But I just want to say that I'm playing through this game as if an average Joe is playing through the game. And so there's a pretty good chance that if I missed this mirror, which I knew it was there, I've played this game before, but if there's a chance that I'm just playing through and I missed it, chances are others people did too. And so, you know, that was the reason I made such a big deal about it, is if it was important to the plot, they shouldn't put it out of the way off to the side and just hope that somebody wanders over there. Which I'm assuming is going to happen with this mask as well. But if I remember correctly, I haven't quite got there yet. In my playthrough, it will be a little easier to find. Anyways, you saw I bought an axe. So far, this is the best weapon. You saw the inventory screen. So we're going to continue our clockwise rotation around Fireburg. Finally head to that house in the middle where the crazy man lives. And strangely enough, it's next to this lava pit. Now, that doesn't strike me as a non-hazardous type of situation to live in. In fact, it seems quite dangerous. But perhaps maybe that's the reason why the crazy man lives down there. Some sulfur in the water, maybe. Something like that. So the door is locked. I obviously can't get in. But if we remember from the end of the last clip, this woman here at the entrance, talking to a stranger, just talks about a guy who can pick any lock. Well, that can't possibly be coincidence. So let's go back into the hotel. And if we want to guess who that man could possibly be, it's Tristram. We want to get into this guy's house, but he won't let me in. Well, that actually sounds perfectly legitimate if you ask me. I wouldn't want strangers wandering in my house. But Tristram gives you a key, because after all, you're the hero. And he could care less about anything else. Okay, leave me to drinking here at the bar. So we head down. We bump into the door again. try to blow up the door, just being goofy. Running into the door, it opens. I guess that's using the key. And when we walk inside, oddly, the guy doesn't call the police of our forcing our way into his house. Instead, he seems perfectly pleasant, admitting to the fact that he ran when he saw a situation go bad. Only a mega grenade can free him. Again, why were they in this volcano? How do you use it? Just throw it. You know, I'm pretty sure grenades in real life aren't as easy as just throw it. And again, learn to use a grenade. How do you learn a grenade? It's not like it's a move or a spell. We didn't learn anything unless just throw it is the technique we needed to learn all this time. If that's the case, well, maybe I shouldn't be wandering around the world trying to save it, huh? There was another crest down there. We'll come back to that one as well. So, we've got the mega grenades. That's what we need to progress into the story. But I'm going to take a few minutes, in fact the rest of this clip, to go back and clear all those zones, because I have Reuben in my party. As we might remember, you don't split experience in this game, so there's absolutely no reason to fight these things by yourself. Wouldn't make a dab of sense. I'm skipping this. You know, the tunnel to Spencer's, the focus tower, just busy work. It seems like after you go through a place 2 or 3 times, you should just be able to skip it. But I got 2 minutes left here. You can look along in the walkthrough to see the various items I get, where I get them. But I just wanted to maybe plug in my intermission that I'm putting off. I've got it all scripted out. I've got an idea of what I want to do. It's going to take a lot of, much like my intro to Mystic Quest, it's going to be a clip thing, and so it's going to take some work and time. Basically, it's a 10-minute expose on one of the glaring problems with Mystic Quest. It has to do with the plot, specifically with the 4 crystals. It seems like the story writing just was done overnight. It's like they were in a rush to try to get it done. It goes into unnecessary detail in some aspects, and yet it leaves out important parts in others. I don't want to spoil any of the information I've got, but I mean, just as a gist, just as an example. The crystal of Earth, the first crystal, was causing people to grow older. That's an odd side effect, if you ask me. But what we didn't see was like the earth rotting or the trees getting old and dying. Even though people were in town were saying that, we didn't see that. What we saw was people getting older. That didn't make any sense. Now, as you see, as us walking around, earthquakes are taking place. Shouldn't that have been the crystal of Earth, not the crystal of fire, causing earthquakes to take place? And then in Aquaria, all the water was frozen because of the water crystal, but in Forestra, the water was perfectly fine. So what gives there? They're being picky about the locations, if you ask me. And the crystal of fire, we still haven't rescued yet, and so there's like all this chaos, but we haven't noticed the earth shaking anywhere else in the world. So, again, just being picky. Let me kill my guys before this last battlefield. Wait a minute. Did you see that? I used the life spell on Reuben. In the past in this game, and I'm positive on this, it cured poison. But this time I used life on him, and it didn't cure poison. I'm so confused as far as what that life spell can and can't do. I just don't know anymore. Before it cured status effects, now it doesn't. It still heals all the hit points, but I'm starting to wonder if it's still going to do that. You know, this whole game just has this thread of inconsistency, and I'm overpicking. I know I am. In all honesty, I like this game. But here's my point. If I can point out all these little things that I'm picking up, then somebody didn't do their homework or their job. I shouldn't be able to just on the whim pick up these little things. Somebody should have come behind and said that was a bad idea. I'll stop ranting for now. We've got a good basis of the beginning of the chapter. We'll pick up with the next.